What is good? What's going on, everyone? It is your boy Pat and Maddie B. We are back. We are live. The Mayfair Mafia is in full contact here, and we want to go talk a positive note, take things positive from this Flyers team after what we just saw a ground out battle against those Boston Bruins, figuring that the Flyers would own real estate in this Panthers head, figuring that the Florida Panthers coming out of a duel themselves with the Rangers, making that trip down to 95. They were going to have some fatigued legs. And no, it was the other shoe that would fall. And it was, unfortunately, it was the Flyers who had the fatigued legs, who didn't show up today, and not until that late in the third period. So, does this lead you, Matty B, with still some questions more than answers, or how do you take tonight's performance? A little lackluster on the defensive side, would you say?
No, lackluster is being kind. It was one of the worst defensive efforts I've seen out of this team in a long time, and I'm not buying the excuse anymore about the hurt, injured players. You know, we played defense like we played yesterday against the Bruins, and we turn around and Adam Jennings. I don't know what level of hockey that going after head on to an offensive player and trying to. I don't know what he was doing there. It doesn't work. And the guy just went right around him. I mean, Travis Sanheim was consistently once again out of position. It was bad. It was a bad defensive game. Everything that the Flyers have leaned on all season long. The outlet pass, that didn't work, and it cost them a goal the other way. It was just a real bad game. And, Pat, you kind of hit it on the head, man, the fatigue factor. You know, both these teams played yesterday. One of them played yesterday afternoon. The one of them played last night. Yeah, and then one of them had to travel. It wasn't the Flyers who had to travel. And as you mentioned, and they both were going with backup goalies. And, you know, so this should have been, based on how the Flyers have played the Panthers all season, this should have been a better game than it really turned out to be. The Flyers were not ready to play this game. And I don't know how much more ready you need to be, Pat, when you're 10 games to the end of the regular season. Every friggin' point matters. You're trying to make the playoffs. You're trying to defy the odds. And you come out tonight lifeless. And you come out tonight, once again, not able to produce any kind of offense and taking penalties. Well, they only took 2, but being once again just dead on the power play. They got the late power play goal after they pulled the goalie to try to get a 6-on-4 advantage. Finally, they got the power play goal, but I don't know, Pat. I mean, yeah, it's been a nice story. The gauntlet was tough. We got one more to go tomorrow or Tuesday against the Rangers, and you know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, Pat, I guess.
And that's what it feels like. It definitely feels like it's 2 feet forward, 1 step back, and it just feels like this Flyers team, just when they have everything going for them, just when we're speaking to the fan base, say, hey, listen, don't be checked out. We got this. And it just, again, it goes back to to your route. You know, they're ahead schedule, but they're not there yet. And games like this are going to, you know, tells me that, you know, when I'm all in, when I'm ready to put all the chips in and say, all right, let's make a run of this. Games like this kind of take me, whoa, let's take a break. Let's realize what we have. There's still some, you know, growth to be done here. And again, you know, and you know, you probably have heard it all week long, the benching of your captain. And this is a game where he was, you know, he was trying. I think yeah.
I didn't vote for him. I mean, talk about my captain.
Yes, our great captain here. But Sean Couturier looked like he was trying to do a little too much today. Trying to really, and listen, not just him, the whole, like you said, the whole offense. But I got to give credit to Anthony Stolarz. I mean, just solid between the pipes today. I mean, the Flyers threw everything but the kitchen sink, and he just countered everything that they tried. The odd man rushes weren't finding the back of the net. Again, it didn't take till late 7 minutes left on the game for them to go find the back of the net, and it was just still nothing to be done there. Like I
Yeah.
said, just late, and still you're open for high hopes, and nothing really panned out. So you got to give credit what credit's due with Anthony Stolarz, former Flyer. So yeah, it definitely stings a little bit.
Yeah, it does. I thought that going into this game, obviously, again, on the back-to-back with the backup goalie with Sandstrom and all that, this is not the optimal situation, but I much would rather have this situation with Sandstrom playing tonight. And, I want to make sure Urson's as healthy or as rested as he can be for the Rangers on Tuesday. But was I expecting them to win this game? Well, no. I mean, I don't expect them to win every game, but you got to go out and you got to make a better showing. I mean, you want to get to the playoffs. You want to be considered one of those teams. You don't want to be part of the bottom non-playoff draft top 15 of the league. But you got to go out and you got to play better than this. You got to go out and you got to be better than this. And the whole Sean Couturier benching, I've voiced my opinion about it. I'm not really in favor of the benching. I thought that again, how can you go to battle without your captain or without your leader? But I understand it's a numbers business, and he just wasn't putting up the numbers. I hope that's all that was going on, because if there was anything more, then that's a bigger problem. But yeah, they all looked like they were pressing. They all looked like they were trying to cheat their way through this game, and the Flyers are not that type of team that can cheat their way, because their mistakes are magnified, and they cannot recover from them because they still have the talent in order to do that. And yeah, it's just it's disheartening because of the way they lost, not necessarily because they lost.
Yeah, and again, they outshot shots on
It's
goal,
amazing,
33 to
man.
15,
It's
to the
amazing.
to the Panthers. Again, 7 penalties, power plays, and you came up with this. Again, we all know the Flyers' strong suit is not the power play, and again, they could have done a lot better. And like you were just saying, the matchup and between the two, the story of the night was the defenses between the two teams. One looked like they again were shutting down the zone with anything the Flyers were trying to throw at Anthony Stolarz. You saw like they swarmed in like a bunch of bees at Flyer Panther team to protect their goalie. And like you said, the Flyers kind of looked like they were out of sorts. Fatigue kind of caught up with them. I don't know if they had an after party they went out to and celebrate because they beat Boston and not realizing you still have plenty of hockey to play. I mean, there's still, just like I said, still some questions to be answered. And again, there's John Tortorella on the side. I get it. He was yelling at the coaches or the officials and all that stuff about a questionable power play and all those things. But still, at the end of the day, your team came up small, and I know he's probably in that locker room now, throwing the chairs and all that fun stuff, but with one hand. But yeah, listen, the team needs to respond. Go to MSG and again try to wake up the Flower fans and say, hey, listen, don't sleep on us. So I mean, as of right now, as it currently constructed, yeah, it still has me a little wondering. This team is still young, and this Panthers team, like guys like Tarasenko, who found with the power play goal, kind of just reminds you guys like that are differently built.
Yeah, and I'm tired of playing Tarasenko. I mean, we dealt with him twice against the Ottawa Senators, and we deal with him twice for the Panthers. I'm tired of seeing the guy, and he's out there, and he's a Flyer killer, along with Sam Reinhart, and 50 goals tonight. Two more for him, 50 for the season. There's just players out there that have our number, and just happen to see a lot of them lately. And yesterday they handled Pasternak. Yesterday they handled Marchand. They handled those guys, but today. They didn't handle the Panther players who had our number, and Stolarz, former Flyer, as you've mentioned before, he played really well. But again, it's not for me the wins or losses at this point. It really isn't. 81 points is far past my expectations of how this team should have been this season. I just would have wished I would have seen a better effort, an effort from a team that feels that they're in the playoff race, that wants to be in the playoff race, that knows that they're not as good as the other teams out there, but they're scraping and clawing their way to try to kind of force their way into the picture. And today I didn't see that. I saw a tired team, a disinterested team, and that goes from Sean Couturier all the way down to Felix Sandstrom. How do you outshoot a team almost 2-1 and lose 4-1? I don't get that. I get the goaltending. The defense was horrible. And that's really where it comes down to, is goaltending and defense in those types of situations. It's been what's been the problem when the Flyers are, out shooting opponents that badly. And tonight defense was, I would have to say was the worst I've seen all season. Tonight's effort and Terry, or not Terry, God, almost Terrian. Jeez, I'm stuck back in 1998. No, it was Sanheim, Jinning, Addard. They just none of them were. They seemed interested. The Flyers were losing pucks in the corner. Palin getting run off a puck that led to an odd man rush. I mean, it just was very unflyer like, I guess, today.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it kind of wonders like they were all just on autopilot throughout the course of this
And
game.
they can't be that way.
Right, you can't be that way. You can't tell me you're a playoff team 1 second and tell me you're a bottom feeder because it looked like a tale of two stories out there. And just the word of today would be just fatigue with this team because they just look like you said disinterested. They look like they didn't want to be there. They were just there because they're paid to be there. I mean, if anybody showed life in the Wells Fargo Center, it was just gritty. But I mean that's just about as far as it goes. I mean. So you look at the Flyers, you look at the overall goal scoring again. Again, Sam Reinhart just a force to be reckoned with moving forward. Sam Reinhart just again gets on the scoreboard first. Again, just wreaking havoc. I mean, just a nice, beautiful goal. And then Tarasenko would follow with a power play goal. And then again, just Flyers were just having some good scoring chances, but nothing just panned out. Just nothing going their way. And they tried, and by middle of the second period, they're just cooked at this point. They've showed you no life. Florida again gets back on the scoreboard, and then of course late in the third, the Flyers would answer back with a Bobby Brink goal, and then that would be pretty much. I mean, if you went to the bathroom real fast, you'd miss that fourth goal that went in by Florida, and that would be your story of the night. And like you said, Matt, when it comes down to it, we were looking to see better effort. And if, like I said, if this team would have lost 2-3 prior, I would have been more convinced. I've been a little bit more happier. But a 4-1 beat down at home still it bothers me some. I'm not gonna lie. Just get waffled at home by your opponent by your opponent is just bothering me.
Yeah, and if we go back in time a little bit to their first Reinhardt goal, I'll run you guys through this. There's a lot of disheartening things about this goal for me, and this was actually a theme all the whole night for the Panthers. There are a lot of transitional goals, not much offensive setup. Like we're going to cycle. No, there was a lot of rush goals, which again indicates the Flyers were just uninterested and they were lethargic of being there. And the Reinhardt goal starts deep in the Panther end, and just they break out freely. They got the Flyers trapped, and then it's just a matter of just bad defense. The Flyers flowing with the puck, like four people flowing with one puck, and then they find Reinhart. They literally, the defender left, or the defensemen, there was two of them, left Reinhart to kind of all just sashay off to the other side of the ice. And then Reinhart's by himself in the slot with momentum, gets the nice little feedback, and then puts it beyond Sandstrom, which was a clean look again. And, listen, all season long, the Flyer goalies, and this is to include Carter Hartland before he got hauled away, but whatever. Yeah. They just had problems, and they have had problems with distance goals. I've never seen a team struggle with so much from the point and beyond, or from the slot and beyond, than the Flyers have this year. A lot of it's traffic in front. This was not a traffic goal. This was a clean look. Reinhart had all day, of course, to do it, and that's something. But the Flyers got to do better, and their goalies got to do better. They got to make the easier saves. They got to try to keep their team in it. The Tarasenko goal, again, the Flyers are coming out of their own zone. They try the outlet pass, didn't work out. Transition back to the other end, and then Tarasenko, once again, Flyers under or over pursue. He creeps into the slot all by himself. There was a little bit more traffic out in front, but still a relatively clean look for Sandstrom, and he just can't. He gets like handcuffed by it. And there you go. You got 2-0, and then the rest of it. There was a pretty goal by Bobby Brink on the power play. It was nice. 7 minutes. They pulled the goal. We have a 6-on-4 advantage, and they're able to find a kind of a tic tac goal situation. But just disheartening how the Flyers handled their business tonight. Outplayed, outworked, out hustled, out blue lined. Everything out the Flyers got tonight, and that's why they lost.
Well, and Matt, you're absolutely right. I mean, they got outplayed, again, all that. But you know what doesn't get outplayed enough here?
What's that?
Philly sports trips. You can never get outplayed with Philly sports trips. Again, guys, that we've been advertising this all week for the past month. The Philadelphia Eagles are heading down to Brazil for, I believe now, it's opening game. So again, and the rumor I've been hearing, it's going to be the Cleveland Browns. So if guys, you
That's a
have
barn burner
interested.
right there, man. That's the game that I want to go to Brazil and watch. Eagles and Browns, man. Let's renew that tradition.
If you guys are looking to head down, to Brazil, maybe you don't want to go down and watch Eagles and Browns. Maybe you just want to go there for the beaches and just relax or whatever. But either way, man, Philly sports trips are hooking it up, no doubt about it. It's the biggest party of the century. And what I've heard from Al and Mike, the catering to these trips are like none other. So if you're like me, a professional slob, a professional eater, you might want to check out this. And again, Philly Sports Trips doesn't just do Eagles; they do all five Philadelphia sports teams. That's right; they do the Flyers, Sixers, Union, Phillies. I mean, they're Vinny, the engineer of that or the pioneer rather. He does it all over there. So, guys, a lot of good things going on with Philly Sports Trips. So, with that being down. Again, you can check out this as well as our man David R. Cherry Esquire. David R. Cherry Esquire, kill him up 610-565-0300. Guys, if you have any more working compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury, criminal law, just like a criminal law today, when I just saw this Flyers team just catch a beat down in their own home. Well, listen,
Yeah,
hit up my
back.
man David. If you guys want David R. Cherry to hook you up, man, give him a jingle today. Delaware County's best lawyer, no doubt about it. Call him up today. Like I said, that number again is 610-565-0300. Give him a shout out today. So, and then you have, of course, I'm going to quickly go through these ads, guys. Dolan Bars is where you want to go. 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. Dolan's Bar. Like I said, you see the graphic right there. Great times, music. You guys can do whatever you want. Have a great time. You never know what Philadelphia legend's going to come walking in. Just like these guys right here, May 25th. Get yourself a ticket. Hang out with the Cruckster. Hang out with Croc, Mickey Morandini. Tons of great Phillies legends that come walking through there. Guys, check them out today.
Yeah. Listen, Pat, you reminded me of something I wanted to bring up. I forgot all about it. So I want to deviate for a second, if you don't mind. I'm going to hijack your show for just 1 second. So this week, I attended Father Judge High School in Mayfair, right? And every Thanksgiving Day, it was tradition that we would play our public school rival, which was Abraham Lincoln High School. Well, I just found out this week that we're not doing that no more. That the Catholic League and Father Judge have decided they're not going to do the annual turkey thing with Lincoln. They're turning it off. How dare you? How friggin' dare you, Philadelphia? How dare you, the Archdiocese of Philadelphia? How dare you, Father Judge and Lincoln? Turning that off. What is wrong with you? They're citing public safety and all that. I get all that. But you know what? You're going to let a few bad apples ruin the bunch. I'm pissed about this. Generations of future Father Judge and Lincoln students are not going to experience what I had the opportunity to experience when I was a kid. It's a disgrace. Yeah. It's a travesty. The city of Philadelphia should be ashamed of themselves, and so should the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. Sorry, Pat, I had to bring up a political matter there, but I had to get that off my chest, man. It was bothering me.
I'm glad you said something. I'm glad that you did. Listen, I'm glad that you told me you went to Father Judge. As a man who went to Lincoln, I've witnessed plenty of beatdowns from those rivalry
did you not know they stopped doing the game? They made the announcement
last week. This is new to me. So, how dare them? I want to show. Again, this is a great tradition. Again, Lincoln never got a punching, but still. But either way, I mean, I got to enjoy. Again, this is something you kind of looked forward towards. I mean, if all the high school battles, again, Father Judge always had Lincoln's number, but. For them to stop that, it's going to be ridiculous.
Turkey Day was like always forever. You go to the game in the morning and then you start your Thanksgiving Day fun. So, yeah, I just had to get that. Sorry, folks. I just had to get that off my chest. And let's get back to the action, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, do you want to do the around the scoreboards?
Absolutely. Let's go take a trip around the National Hockey League. Here on the Clear the Ice, we'll start with the games that are currently still in progress. In the second period, the Stars and the Coyotes are tied 1-1. With 6:46 remaining in the first period, it is 0-0 Lightning and Ducks. 9 o'clock tonight, the Sabres and Flames will throw down here in, about now. And then also the Canadiens and Kraken will do battle at 9 as well. Games that have gone final. Washington blanks the Jets 3-0, which is bad news for the Flyers. The Avalanche take care of the Penguins in overtime 5-4. The Devils beat the Islanders 4-0. That's good. And then the Senators defeating the Edmonton Oilers 5-3. And the Hurricanes over the Maple Leafs 2-1. And that is your look around the scores. And let's update the standings for you folks. If you keep the track at home, Flyers are still holding service in third place in the Metro, but it's getting a little tighter now. Capitals are now just 2 points behind them for that spot. In the wild card race, the Lightning have 83 points and the Capitals with 79. So right now, I guess it would be not too bad if the Flyers would default to the Capitals. They would at least slide back into the wild card spot. But there you have not only our scores, but our walk around the National Hockey League and the standings as well. So let's go ahead, and Pat had to step out. So let's remind the folks at home this schedule this week for the Clear the Ice program. Another full tilt, the gauntlet, as we have been, of course, referring to over the past 7 games, will wrap up on Tuesday night in New York against the Rangers, and me and Mike will have the call. Thursday, the Flyers will battle the La Canadiens with me and Al on the call. And then Saturday, the Blackhawks and Connor Bedard will make an appearance at Wells Fargo. It'll be Pat and Mike on the call. Of course, we're going to be doing split duty this week, starting this week, because the Fightins Final returns and baseball returns. And with the Fightins Final, we have ourselves a brand new sponsor, the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar in 5400 Fern Boulevard in Drexel Hill, PA, at the Holiday Inn and Suites at the Delbrook Event Center. They are our new sponsor. We will be doing a multiple pre- and post-game Fightins Finals from that location this season. Our first one will be on April 7th. We will kick off pregame festivities as the Phillies will get ready to wrap up their series against the Nationals, and then we'll do the postgame from there. But don't forget, every single night, starting on Thursday, with this group here. There's an ad on the Thursday. It's going to be me and Al on Thursday night, recapping our home and season opener against the Braves, and then Al on Saturday against the Braves, and Mike as well. We'll finish up the series. So there you have the Fightins Final and the rest of your Clear the Ice weekend as well. So a lot going on the network, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. But Matt, you know what time it is? It's our three stars of the game. If you could dig them up. Here we go.
Oh, man. This is where I put my own little theory to test here.
Yes, Matt,
you want me to go first? I'll go first, Pat, if you want me to.
Okay.
I mean, I came up with this damn thing, and now I got to pay the piper. I guess my third star of the night tonight is going to be Bobby Brink for the lone goal of the Flyers, his 10th of the year, by the way. It's good to see Brink. He's kind of, I don't know, he's moving in a positive direction. He's somewhat of a disappointment. I don't know, maybe not disappointment. Somewhat of an under progress. He hasn't really progressed the way we wanted him to this year, but he's getting some extended playing time, and he's making the best of it, playing decently. He gets credited with the goal. So he's my number 3 star. My number 2 star, it would be John Tortorella for having the stones to pull Felix Sandstrom with 7 minutes to go in the game to produce a 6-on-4 power play, which I thought at the time was really risky, but who cares at this point? But Tortorella still had the stones to do that, led to the first Flyers goal. So there's my number 2 star to John Tortorella and his decision ability to pull Sandstrom with 7 minutes to go on the power play. And my number 1 star is that youth hockey team that was featured on the broadcast, who was apparently invited to the Wells Fargo Center to enjoy their end of season reward for probably a great hockey season. I don't know what youth hockey team it was, but whoever you were, congratulations on a great season, and I hope you enjoyed your night. So there you go, Pat. There are my 3 stars of the game, my 3 Flyer stars of the game.
Yeah.
See, I pulled it out, man. I pulled it out.
You did. You survived. I'll give you that one. I'll go 3. We have the same common star. Go Bobby Brink. Number 2, I'll go Sean Couturier. Again, I thought he tried too much. Again, that unfortunately the crossbar got in his way of a goal. But again, him just trying to hustle and just trying to find the back of the net again. Uh, just unfortunately didn't pay off like he wanted. I guess I'll give him credit for that. But and yes, my number one star. Give me Gritty because he's the only one who showed me life through 60 minutes of hockey, getting fans into it. He played a major role trying not to have this crowd leave or fall asleep. Give me Gritty at number one.
Hey, it takes all types, man, to make a game go. So yeah, I like those choices as well, Pat. I do. They're very upright choices, and of course Sam Reinhart. And we talked a little bit about Sam Reinhart. 50 goals tonight, or 50 goals now on the season. 2 more tonight. He is a UFA at the end of the year. For those of you out there who are wondering, he would look mighty nice in orange and black, but he's going to command about 8 to 10 million annual. I don't know if the Flyers can afford that without trying to move some pieces around. But boy, if you guys are wondering what we need, what we really need to kind of jumpstart this thing, it's a Sam Reinhart type of forward. It's a guy that can score goals, facilitate goals, just a point guy. That is what we really need in order to be considered in the conversation of a Stanley Cup contender. And Anthony Stolarz will also be a free agent, a possible reunion, because we're going to need a backup goalie. I mean, we're going to need one. If we're going to go with Urson, we're going to need a backup goalie that's got a little bit of veteran wherewithal about him. And Stolarz has been around. I think he's pretty used to or pretty come to terms with the fact that he's a backup in this league. And so there's two individuals to keep an eye on as once they hit free agency.
Yeah, and 2 names you brought up, I would love to see back in. Well, I like to see one back in orange and black. I've always, uh, you know, Anthony Stolarz is like the Nick Foles. He could give you an A+ game, or he'll give you something sloppy. But when he's on, he's on. And of course, tonight you saw that again, a guy with a 6'5", 6'6" frame, just a big body of work between the pipes. But yeah, like I said, when he's on, and it's tough to get through him. And he was causing Flyers problems. And of course, if he's going to be your backup, maybe just on back-to-back games, I would not mind having someone of that caliber play for the Flyers. And of course, you talked about Sam Reinhart. I've been watching him since his days with Buffalo Sabres, and like I mentioned prior going on the air, I watched him through that pandemic year, and
Yeah.
that was one thing that lingered to beat the brakes off that Flyers team every time you match up. You mentioned about the guys who tuned up this Flyers team in years past. Guys like we all Crosby, the Dave Pasternak's. Well, this guy's one. He falls right in that canoe of guys who thumped this Flyers team, and he knows how to do it. So, yeah, I would love to see Sam Han. I don't care what the bill is, how many zeros he needs on that check. You sign him immediately. If you are, again, that's another sign into the right direction. But we just got to be patient with the season, and that's all it's about,
Yeah.
patience and development. So, but Matt, listen, final plugs. We all know you have your show tomorrow night live here on Edge of Philly Sports at 8
Yeah.
o'clock. Um, what else? Where can the people follow you at? And again, what's the major topic? If you can let that out of the bag a little bit.
So tomorrow night, obviously, we're going to feature a lot of Phillies. We're going to talk Phillies. We did the Fightins finals, which you were not part of. I know you had. I heard what happened, and that's good. I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad you were able to do that.
Yes.
But we will. We're probably going to be really baseball centric tomorrow. It's big time, second best time of the year. Opening day of baseball to me is like literally the sign of summer. And
Yes.
it's coming. When you turn the TV on, there's baseball. So be baseball centric. We might toss in a little. I really don't want to talk about the Eagles anymore, but I may toss in some Eagles. But we're going to go Flyers. But it's going to be purely sports driven. Nothing controversial though. As we're gonna, again, this is a week to be energetic and excited about the start of baseball. 20th season at the bank, 141st Phillies season overall. It's great, and there's a lot of expectations that are coming this year. So we're going to get into some Phillies talk and some Flyers and maybe a little Eagles maybe. But you can find me on Twitter as well. There's my handle right there, and you also find me all over the EOP. This show, Fightins Final, my show, doing a lot of articles. And if you guys have been over to our Facebook or our Twitter, you need to check it out. breaking down Phillies prospects, breaking down Flyers prospects, dropping spotlight articles on the Phillies players. Finally, I'm done with that. I don't have to do that anymore. I've run through the gauntlet of that. Now we're starting to turn our attention a little bit to the draft, the NFL, or not NFL, we are turning our attention to the NFL draft here on EOP, but I'm turning my attention to the NHL draft and to the MLB draft, dropping articles about prospects for the MLB draft, dropped my first player card today in the NHL draft for Macklin Celebrini, who is the consensus first round pick, number one first round this year. So be on the lookout for all that. And we will cover. We are, Pat. We're going to cover this because you're part of this. You're part of the Clear the Ice and the final. We're covering the MLB draft and we're covering the NHL draft this year. So April's going to be a bear, and then it's going to not really lighten up a little bit. But hey, that's what we signed on for. It's fun. This ain't work, but a lot going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, I'm off tonight from all lacrosse all the time.
Good.
However, yeah, but like I said, the article's out there. But again, I will be back here Thursday morning program, doing some union work. Gonna get that going, and of course, I'll be here for the weekend for all clear the ice, and excited, just exciting times. Yes, yes. Me and of course you get PM and AM pretty much within 24 hours of one another. So that could be pleasurable or painful, however you would so choose to listen to us. I know it could cause Matty B to have his ears bleed at times, but I understand. Uh, but listen, like I said, this is a great week again here in Edge of Philly Sports. We're always busy. Of course, this is Phillies week. And of course, if you guys got a chance, if you did miss it today, go back to watch it. We've often talked about what made you a Phillies fan, what made you, was it a memory that you have with your old man, was it a childhood hero that you saw come to the plate, all those fun things, guys. So guys, catch me, Matty B, always again tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Don't go nowhere. Catch Matty B right here on Edge of Philly Sports, guys. We are out of here. See you later.